Welcome to our preview show for the race meeting on the Vaal Classic track, Tuesday the 23rd of April. 8 races on the program, the first off at 12:35. And as always, for Highveld race meetings, we are joined for this preview by Alistair Cohen, who was in fine form over the weekend, tipping the bite pot 8 times for a tidy profit. Well done, Alistair, and welcome again.
Thanks so much, Graham. Yep, nice to continue what's been a pretty good run of form. Hopefully we can continue that this week with the final meeting of the Highveld Championships coming up this Saturday. The Gugu Stakes, the Colorado King Stakes, a couple of juvenile features, the famous old Gold Bowl will be run on Saturday, and all roads lead to Turfentine before champion season starts in a little less than 2 weeks' time, which no one can wait for. So, yep, hoping this Vaal card goes according to plan. I must confess, I actually don't mind this Vaal card. There are a number of horses that do stand out, so hopefully it goes according to plan.
Well, the bite pot is again your choice of selection for our show today, and that'll all come up at the end of the preview show. But we kick off with the bite pot in the very first race, which is a maiden juvenile plate for fillies over 1,000 meters. And I do know this is where you've decided to banker. We get off with a banker as far as the first leg of the bite pot is concerned. You're going with number 3, Far Reaching. But first of all, here's the betting. Number 3, Far Reaching at even money. Number 6, Kindred Heart is at 3-1. Number 10, Valiva is at 9-2. And they're betting 10-1 and upwards, bar those 3, with number 7, the first timer, Rule of Justice, at 10-1. Confident that Far Reaching is going to step up from a promising debut?
I'm very confident, Graham. There's a line of form here that puts Far Reaching ahead of Kindred Heart. Far Reaching finished in front of subsequent winners Bosom Buddy and We Will Rock You, and Bosom Buddy beat Kindred Heart. There was about a length between Bosom Buddy and Far Reaching. Far Reaching was also having her first start. I'd expect her to kick on. The word from the yard is that she's a nice and above average and progressive filly who was expected to run well on debut. I know Pinatubo's run since the card went to print and ran unplaced in Open Company, but I wouldn't read too much into that just yet as a 2-year-old against Open Company. And I think Far Reaching is a very, very hard horse to beat, especially with the fact that none of the first timers make too much appeal, not genetically and not as far as the market is concerned at this early juncture. I think Far Reaching will win, Graham, and I make her the best bet on the card. I know that it's early doors and I'd love to give you something a little bit more juicy than the price that she is, but it is what it is, and that's what we got to do to make a little bit of profit before we get into the PA Pick 6 and jackpots.
Well, the form certainly has been flattered with 2 direct winners from that form line. So we're all looking for number 3, Far Reaching, to get us off to a cracking start on the Vaal Classic track this Tuesday, the 23rd. Banker in the opening leg of the bite pot for Alistair, number 3, Far Reaching. We move to the second race, which is thus also the first leg of the place accumulator. It's a maiden juvenile plate over 1,000 meters. The off time is 1:10. Let's have a look at the betting. There is support around, money around for number 1, Baynak, at 7-2 from the Brett Crawford stable. Piers Stradham takes the ride. He doesn't often ride 2-year-old first-timers. 2-year-old son of Kerari, bred by Dr. Kritzinger. That's at 7-2. Card change, number 2, Beyond the Horizon, makes its debut as a gelding. Number 3, Chocolate Soldier, is at 5-1. Another first-timer, number 4, French Bolt, is in the market at 11-2. But the odds-on favourite is number 7, Ready, Set, Fire, at 7-10. Has had 4 starts, been in the money on all 4 occasions. But you've decided against bankering number 7, Ready, Set, Fire. You've backed that one up with the first-timer, number 4, French Bolt. So let's start there. Know anything about Stuart Pettigrew's runner?
I heard a word about French Bolt not so long ago, Graham. It wouldn't be the Pettigrew style to ready a horse up first time out. They do normally come on with runs under the belt, but I believe that there's something sort of in the water with number 4, French Bolt, and that he shows some nice work. Is a half brother to Miss Cool, a grade 3 winner, I think it was. Calvert Abib takes it out for Stuart Pettigrew. I think this race has got a little bit more depth than the first race. I think the first timers make a lot more appeal here. But there's no doubt that they're going to have to be quite good to beat number 7, Ready, Set, Fire, for obvious reasons. First of all, drawn towards the outside over 1,000 metres on the Vaal Classic track. I'd say that's where you'd want to be, although there's been no rain around and there's expected to be no rain around for the next few days on the Highveld. I'd still rather see a high number draw than a low number draw. It is his first run over a gelding, after a gelding, but crucially, Graham, the runs to Pistol Pete and Fire Attack just jump off the page. What you would be saying in essence is that any first timer that beats number 7, Ready Set Fire, would immediately become a candidate for juvenile races down during champion season if they were to turn over Ready Set Fire, because he's 4.5 lengths in arrears to the South African nursery winner Fire Attack, and he's 2.25 lengths in arrears to probably the best 1,000-meter juvenile on the half-alt in the form of Pistol Pete. So Ready Set Fire clearly a top choice, but it's not beyond comprehension that one of the first timers are good. All of 1, 4 and 9 make some sort of appeal as far as breeding and the yards that they come from. I'm glad you mentioned that Stratum does not often ride 2-year-old first timers, but now that he's retained by Runchada's Allied Steel Road operation for the next, will be 2 months at the end of this month until I think July day, I think that's when the contract lapses. So he has to ride all the horses that he can do the weights on. So he's riding number 1 Baynak. The comments at the front of the computer form are fairly complimentary, but I'm going to take it on with a horse that's probably got a little bit more precociousness than the former number 4 French Bolt as the first timer to watch closest.
So there we go, a short-priced favourite in the second race, number 7, Ready Set Fire, at 7-10, brings all the right sort of form into the race, but as Alistair suggested, there are 1 or 2 interesting first-timers in the field. The third race is a maiden plate, again over the minimum trip of 1,000 metres. It is the first leg of the pick 6. It is due for 13:45. Number 3, Water Lucy, who's been off the track for quite some time. She last ran on the 31st of August last year, when second to Daring Act. She's been off the track for 236 days. She's the second choice in the market at 2-1. Topping the boards is the well-tried maiden, number 4, Enchanting Lady, at 16-10. The average merit rating in this field is 63. Number 5, Magic Secret, is 6-1. Number 9, Just the Two of Us, at 9-2. What do you make of the opening leg of the pick 6? How deep do we have to go in the pick 6?
Oh, to answer your question about the pick 6, Graham, as deep as you can afford. What do I make of the first leg of the pick 6? Not a whole lot. I think you summed it up. The most compelling piece of information is that number 3, Water Lucy, would ordinarily be a very strong choice if she wasn't rested 236 days. But maybe coming out fresh and with a little bit of cotton wool after her last start, she can finally show what Lucky Goodalakis has always thought of her. I remember when she made her debut, a lot of talk about her. And Lucky wasn't really put off by the run from Water Lucy. She was just horribly lost at Turfentine, obviously being based at the Vaal, knowing the surroundings, and she was just a ball of nerves at Turfentine first time out. Tried again a few weeks later at Turfentine, and she was a lot more natural. She showed the pace that Lucky expected, but she fell in a hole. And then at the Vaal, her home track, she ran a better race in her third stop, but obviously ruled out for quite a while. So fitness needs to be taken on trust, but for what she shows, for what she's rumoured to be at her home course, does she need to be 100% fit? Probably not, but does she have to be reasonably fit? Yes, absolutely. So 3, Water Lucy is my top selection with obvious disclaimers. I think you summed up number 4, Enchanting Lady, to perfection. Well tried, well overdue. On the wait for green light run, she's got Magic Secret, Just the Two of Us, LaChance and Future Queen all held. Maybe Just the Two of Us has got scope to improve past number 4, Enchanting Lady. She's got about 4 lengths to turn around with number 4, Enchanting Lady. I don't know if she's quite got enough. So I'm happy in the bar pot and PA to go 3 and 4, but in the pick 6, there's no way I'd leave out number 9. I wouldn't leave out number 10 either, to be honest, in the pick 6.
Let's move on to the fourth race, a very interesting race. The Derby form comes under scrutiny here in this maiden plate over 2,000 metres. Now, it is 450 metres shorter than the Grade 1 SA Derby. So why am I referring to the SA Derby for a humble maiden plate at the Vaal on a Tuesday afternoon? Well, Taxhaven ran in the Derby as a maiden, ran 5th behind Purple Pitcher. His merit rating was raised from 78 to 96, which makes him clearly the best rated when you look at the best weighted column. But the fact of the matter is that Taxhaven went into the SA Derby as having run 12 times in the maidens without winning. And forgetting the best weighted column for just a moment, because I think that probably flatters him. I'm not suggesting that he doesn't deserve to be at 7-10, but he's only got a short head to spare over Claw, Alistair.
Graham, I cannot work out the South African Derby, the race itself. Purple Pitcher is a proven Grade 1 horse. There's no doubt about it. He's now a 2-time Grade 1 winner. But who stayed? Was it a messy race? Was it a strong Derby? All sorts of questions. And when you question the form and the strength of the Derby, Taxhaven is the perfect example. He's an absolute penalty kick as far as the ratings are concerned, but is he flattered by his run in the Derby? Was he just a better stayer than horses that are generally better than him, that don't get the trip? My mind is not made up when it comes to the South African Derby at all. If he'd run fifth in the Classic, beaten double that margin, 6 lengths, then I'd have absolutely no doubt that Taxhaven would win this race. But the fact that it's taken him now, this will be his 14th start in a maiden. I know he's got a good draw. I know that he's got the same jockey on board. I know that he's consistent. If you took that Derby run out of the picture, if it didn't look like that, then you'd still make a good case for number 1, Taxhaven. But I'm just not easy enough. You'll probably come home and win by double figures, Graham, number 1, Taxhaven. But I need to be turned into a believer of the strength of the form and the strength of this year's South African Derby before I can go with a maiden that's had 13 starts, that's rated 96. That probably won't be rated 96 coming much longer. Probably have to drop a few pounds to be competitive again. Maybe over 2-4-5-0 he could be dangerous. Who knows? So I've backed him up with numbers 3 and 4, Dark Silver and Karoo Gold. As you mentioned, Dark Silver's a short head behind Taxhaven on the claw run. Now that's got to put everything into perspective. And then again, on indirect form, Dark Silver is 2.5 lengths inferior to Marauding Horde, and in the Derby trial, Taxhaven is 5 3/4 lengths inferior to Marauding Horde. So who knows how that all stacks up? And comparing apples with apples, that was over 2,000 meters. I think a more happier spot for number 3, Dark Silver, than it would be for number 1, Taxhaven. And then there's number 4, Karoo Gold. The tongue tie is coming off, because with the tongue tie, he's been hanging all over the place, although he's run better. With the tongue tie, it's a lesser of 2 evils. Gavin Larena rode him in his anti-penultimate run where he ran second to Atarime. Gavin was the first to cry for a tongue tie coming off. Then after his last run where he was a short price favourite at Hollywoodbets Greyville, Sereno Mudley, who then also cried for the tongue tie to come off. So hopefully he doesn't take a few steps backwards and show what he showed at his first 3 starts, but first 4 starts even, but the jockeys have cried for the tongue tie to come off. But Candace's horses run well in their first run back from Durban. They freshen up, something happens, and then they love the sea breeze and all that. So number 4, Karoo Gold's expected to go well. He's well in himself. He's travelled back nicely. He's travelled back to Joburg better than he travelled to Durban, to be fair. So 1, 3 and 4 are my numbers in this leg of the bar pot. I'll be disappointed if the winner's not out of those 3.
So there you go. As you can see on the ratings, Taxhaven is entitled to be 7 to 10, but the form is a little bit more complicated than that. Over this track and trip, over the 2,000 meters, very little to choose between Taxhaven and Claw, and Karoo Gold is also very much in the mix. As we go to race 5, a fillies and mares 85 divided handicap over 2,000 meters. There is a scratching here. Number 1, Terror Time is a scratching. Number 3, Donna Mo tops the betting boards at 22 to 10. Number 4, Poor Little Rich Girl is at 5 to 1. Number 5, Special Charm 6 to 1. Number 6, I Am Regal is at 4 to 1. Number 7, Quiet Rebellion 7 to 1. And 9, Ariel's Jet is at 7 to 1. The balance are in double figures. Now, Alistair, this race looks complicated.
It is very complicated. I think my first starting point here, or my only starting point, would be number 3, Donna Mo, Graham. I doubt she'll run on Saturday in the Ugugu Stakes, which used to be the Gerald Rosenberg, but she holds an entry of a rating of 91, which A, shows the improvement she's made, and B, giving the indication that Brett Crawford thinks that she's got a nice feature race in her. Like I said, 5 days down the line, I can't see her lining up in the Grade 2 over the weekend, but the point is she holds an entry. So is that a little bit of a signal of intent? So number 3, Donna Mo, be very aware of path that she might plot in the next few months. And if she is good enough to win a race of any substance, then she ought to be good enough to win a fillies and mares 85 at the Vaal approaching winter. Other horses that come into the mix, if you like Donna Mo, then you've got to like number 6, I Am Regal. Although she goes 2,000 metres for the second time in her life, it might just stretch her a little bit, but her last run she hit the line running, suggesting that an extra 200 metres might now be within her range. So wherever Donna Mo is, I Am Regal should be right there, despite an unfavourable swing at the weights for the match at train runner. I've always been a fan of number 5, Special Charm, so I always go in with her. She's done me a few favours along the way. She came into good form this time last year, and that lasted throughout the winter. It looks like she's coming back to form as well, so 5 Special Charm needs to go into the mix. And I've got an inkling at a big price that number 9, Ariel's Jet's going to run okay here, Graham, with a very lightweight. Well, James de Harbour no longer claims after riding his 50th on Sunday at Hollywoodbets Greyville. But I think number 9, Ariel's Jet, on the back of her last run to Pascal Samoray off a lightweight, potentially unexposed at this level. Shrewd trainer, I think she might run okay here, number 9, Ariel's Jet. So I'm putting her in. Hopefully she can run into the top 2 and give bar pots a little bit of a shake.
Well, the one interesting stat in the race regarding Special Charm is the fact that Rachel Venniker is in town to ride her. She's ridden Special Charm 4 times for 3 wins. That's an interesting stat.
That is a good stat. Rachel tends to ride well for Matchett. I mean, Eye of the Prophet probably being the most famous case in point. But when Matchett gives Rachel the call, they don't often leave empty-handed. That's a very interesting dynamic. And stable jockey Pilasande Mqoli's on the bench, so he won't be too happy watching on from the jockey room.
Race 6 is the fillies and mares 70 divided handicap over 2,000 metres, and it doesn't really get any easier. Now, I'm interested in the anti-post market here because top of the boards is number 5, Gilda Gray. Now, whether she runs or not, we're not certain, because she did run on Saturday at Turfentine on the inside track. That was Saturday the 20th, just a couple of days ago. She ran 5th in a field of 6, beaten 8 3/4 lengths behind a place in the sun. Now, we record this show obviously on the Monday morning ahead of the race meeting, and at the time of starting the recording, there was only the one scratching which I referred to earlier. So Gilda Gray tops the boards at 33-10, but I don't like that run on Saturday. She could, of course, turn that form around a couple of days later. 1 Crimson Forest is at 9-2, 2 Pretty in Pearls is at 5-1. 3 Khaki Boss 11-2, 4 Ideal Future 9-2, as I mentioned, 5 Gilda Gray 33-10, and number 7 Ashanti Sword at 9-2. Those are the ones that are in single figures. There are only 9 horses. I know that you've gone with 3 runners in what is the final leg of the bipod: 2 Pretty in Pearls, 3 Khaki Boss, and 4 Ideal Future. So you've also tended to ignore number 5 Gilda Gray.
First thing with Gilda Gray, Graham, is that it would be the Fani Bronco style to back her up if she's pulled up fit and well after the 2,600-metre marathon that was won by a place in the sun under some straight and magic on Saturday. But I think that run's going to take too much out of her if she does run. I'm keen on a horse at 11-2, Graham. I'm very keen, and I'm going to make her... I mean, I've looked at this race a number of times, and I've probably overplayed it with 3 horses here. But I like number 3, Khaki Boss, and I like her quite a lot. She should relish the step up in distance. She runs like she'll get this trip because she just seems like a relentless galloper. Not a very fast relentless galloper, but it looks like she just pounds away wherever she is. Craig Zaki rides for his boss, Lucky Hoodalakis, or Joe Big Boss, Lucky Hoodalakis. But crucially, Graham, I don't think she's been disgraced of late, and the handicap has helped her out, dropping her another 4 pounds to 75. I think she's well poised to strike here. I think she's a huge chance. The fact that Judgment Day came out and franked the form in a race probably a division and a half stronger than this, if not 2 divisions stronger than this on Saturday, I think that all points into her favour. I think she's a huge chance here, Graham, number 3, Khaki Boss, and she is comfortably my top selection. If she does not have the appetite to go all the way through, which is a distinct possibility, 2 Pretty in Pearls and 4 Ideal Future got to have some sort of chance. Pretty in Pearls ran to Donna Mo, who runs at a stronger race about half an hour earlier. If Donna Mo runs a good race, it'll enhance the confidence about number 2, Pretty in Pearls. He doesn't win easily, but she's got a couple of wins in her. Muzi Yenny takes her out for Paul Matchett. Muzi's record on Pretty in Pearls is notable. And number 4, Ideal Future, she just barely runs a bad race. Nervin Nastili takes her out for Lachelle Kruger. I think this season, this filly's missed a check once. So I think that just puts the profile of number 4, Ideal Future, under the spotlight. You're just going to get an honest run from her. So wherever the winner is, Ideal Future will be right there, if not winning the race herself.
Well, there we go. Top choice in race 6 for Alistair's number 3, Khaki Boss. And when you look at the pedigree by Flower Alley out of Wild Ash by Dylan Thomas, the pedigree suggests that the further Khaki Boss goes, the better she will be, perhaps maturing and developing into a nice type of stayer. So number 3, Khaki Boss at 11-2, the top choice in a competitive handicap for Alistair Cohen. Race 7 is the MR80 handicap over 1,600 metres. Penultimate race on the card, due off at 4:05, and it's a wide open betting market. Number 1, King's Express at 3-1. Number 2, Fosti Nova is at 28-10. Number 3, 2 Miles West, 4-1. 5, Leeson is at 4-1. Number 6, Golden Pavilion is at 7-1. So those are the runners quoted in single figures. Take us through the race, Alistair.
Yeah, this is where the meeting kind of unravels. The last 2 races are tricky, hence I've gone with a bar pot and not a pick 6 or place accumulator. Difficult to put a pen through too many of these. Top choice will be the horse Fresh Off a Maiden, number 3, 2 Miles West. He went to the front last time, he stayed there over this course and distance. Rachel Venica up for Paul Matchett. Matchett's got a few chances on the day. I think he's upwardly mobile, number 3, 2 Miles West. I've been watching him for a while. I think they found the right type of wheelhouse for him, going a mile last time, and he's back over that distance. Although he wouldn't be a crazy confident top selection, he is my top selection all the same, because I think a lot of horses here are probably in their place. I think number 7, Majestic Palace, represents some good place value, being drawn 1 the last time he ran at the Vaal. Horses drawn on the outside were Dead in the Water. A horse that came out in Frank the form was Master Christmas. There have been a few that have been whacking around the places, so I think Majestic Palace will probably be in and around the places as well. Second run after arrest, he was entitled to need the run as described in the comments, where he was blowing afterwards. So 7, Majestic Palace comes in with that. And then other winning chances obviously include numbers 1, 2 and 6. I don't like Leeson dropping in distance. I might be wrong. He's got a tricky draw to overcome. For me, there's more negatives than positives with number 5, Leeson. So I'm happy to hold this leg of the pick 6 if you are playing to 5 runners, but with number 3, 2 Miles West, my top choice, and the money maker, number 7, Majestic Palace, for exactas, trifectas, and definitely quartets.
The 8th and final race is an MR70 handicap over 1,600 metres. The meeting closes out at 20 minutes to 5, 16:40. Number 1, Cash Cavell, is at 6-1. Then going down to the market leader, number 6, Viva de Janeiro, that's at 5-2. Now, number 7, Huckus Cruckus, is at 6-1 and still in the field, as I mentioned earlier. There were a couple of horses that ran on Saturday just a couple of days ago, and one of these is number 7, Huckus Cruckus, and he ran 11th of 11, 23 lengths behind Tambi. It's hard to visualize a horse coming back from 23 lengths adrift of the winner, albeit that he's dropping in distance by 200 metres to 1,600 metres. So 6-1. If he runs, I think that's a little on the sharp side. Number 8, JP 2000, 11-2. Now, I just mentioned Tambi, who actually won that race on the 20th of April. So whether Tambi runs or not remains to be seen. And if he does, then I'm sure he's going to carry at least 60 kilograms. I'm not sure what the handicappers are going to do. He won by 3.5 lengths on Saturday over 1,800 metres, beating Royal Mazarin. And so his merit rating will go up, his weight will go up if he stands his ground. Tambi at the moment is also at 6-1. So a few complications to consider for the 8th race, Alistair.
They definitely are, Graham. Just the first point I want to mention, not that I think Kamala is going to have a winner on Tuesday, but he goes into this meeting on 99 winners. If Tambi does run, then that will probably be his best chance, but that'll be a big if, considering he'll run under a penalty, number 9 Tambi. There are 2 horses here that have been on my radar for a while, one that did me no favours last time, and the other one that did me a huge favour. The one that did me a huge favour is a horse that I'm sidestepping here. That's number 4, Putin's Promise, who I thought was an absolute aimer to run into the money on Work Riders Day just 12 days earlier, and ran 3rd behind Volta Fuss. He's got a lot more to do this time. He's got a horrible draw to overcome, and also I'm not convinced about him on the classic track. There was a reason why I wasn't mad about Putin's Promise, other than the draw, but all the same, there was a horse that did the viewers of the show quite a favour last time on Work Riders Day. And then the horse that did me no favours last time is number 8, JP 2000. I refuse to believe that this horse is not winning winning soon, Graham. His ratings come down yet again. He was once rated an 86. He's down to an 80, to a 65. So that's a 21-point reduction for the son of Elusive Fort, who, as you can see, is getting closer with each and every start, with a handicapper doing him a few favors. He's probably over a better trip this time around than the 1800 meters at his last start. A good draw as well. In form yard, I'm going to make a case for a horse that hasn't won in 695 days to be my top selection, especially if Thambi and Hackers Crackers don't run, which I would probably be more sure that they won't run than do run, but who knows until that's official. 6 Viva de Janeiro obviously holds a good chance here. Gavin Lorena on board for Fani Bronkhorst's penultimate win was with contemptuous ease down the Vaal straight. Vaal Classic, totally different kettle of fish, but he's not half bad on the Vaal Classic track. He has won here before. He backed that up and worked Riders Day, finishing second behind Volta Fuss. Viva de Janeiro should be there and thereabout. But a tricky final race, but I think the value lies with JP 2000.
JP 2000 for the 8th and final at the Vaal Classic. Now, Alistair's bet of choice is the bipod. As I mentioned again, he was in form over the weekend. He tipped us a bipod 8 times with a nice healthy profit on the day. So let's hope it's more of the same. Alistair, take us through your bipod.
So the bipod begins in race 1 on this 8-race card at 25 to 1. Banker number 3, Far Reaching in the first leg. Then got 2 horses, 4 and 7, French Bolt and Ready Set Fire, with Ready Set Fire clearly the one to beat. 3 and 4, What a Lucy and Enchanting Lady, race 3, which is leg 3. Gone 4 horses in race 5. Taxhaven on the Derby runs a good thing. Taxhaven on the maiden form is no good thing, with 3 Dark Silver and 4 Karoo Gold as backup. Then gone 4 horses in race 5, so those are 3 Dynamo, 5 Special Charm, 6 I Am Regal and 9 Ariel's Jet at a bit of a price, hopefully to sneak into the top 2. And then the final leg, which is race 6, gone 2, 3 and 4, Pretty and Pearls, Khaki Boss and Ideal Future. And now that I've gone through this, I'm going to take a nice little double. Far Reaching in the first race to win, onto Khaki Boss to run a place in race 6. And if I'm greedy and in the mood on race, that'll be a win double.
Well, there we go. So Alistair quite strong and Far Reaching in the first, Khaki Boss in the 6th. And don't forget about JP 2000 in the last, but we've still got to see whether all of those horses that ran on Saturday will stand their ground, including, of course, Thambi, who won by 3.5 lengths over the weekend. And if he runs, will get a penalty. But for Alistair's JP 2000 in the last, there you've had his bipod. Alistair, thank you very much. I hope the good form continues.
I hope so too, for all the viewers and for all the followers and all the racing fans. Thanks so much, Graham, and we'll chat again soon.
Well, there we go. That's a wrap for our GTV preview of the race meeting at the Vaal on the Classic Track, Tuesday, the 23rd of April.